We are in the 47th chapter now. This chapter is called Life Choices. May this reading relax you and deepen the peace in your heart. Let's dive right into it. One of the most common ways I hear myself introduced at public gatherings is as someone who has left everything to live her life in India, or someone who has left everything for spirituality. As the form of my day-to-day seva, selfless service, shifted from secretarial and administrative to teaching, leading, and bigger picture planning, I found myself on more and more stages. Despite the availability of my biographical information in a variety of places on the internet, MCs tend to emphasize the sacrificial nature of the choices I've made. Audiences, even before I give my address, clap loudly at the idea that someone who had it all voluntarily gave it up just for spirituality and service. I appreciate the importance of this dramatic story and the deep impact it has on people, especially those running after more and more. By seeing me as someone who had it, quote-unquote, then gave it up, quote-unquote, it may awaken in them an awareness that perhaps money, prestige, and possessions are not what's most important. And even though I love the idea of people getting that lesson, when I hear this story being told by an MC, I feel a knot in my stomach. At first, I thought it was false humility, but over the years I've come to realize that the knot in my stomach is my truth compass. It forms because the story isn't true. The facts are true. I grew up in Hollywood and come from privilege, but I did not make the decision to live as a renunciant in an ashram in India as a sacrifice. I did not push away a life of material possessions or sacrifice a life as a professional or a wife or an academic in America or anywhere. I grabbed onto a life that offered and has provided a happiness I never knew before and most likely would not have found had I not listened to the call of the river goddess Ganga and the voice I heard telling me to stay. In a series of moments in September 1996, I chose to stay back at the ashram when my then husband Jim went to the mountains, to come back to the ashram from Mussoorie when he went to Lucknow, or Mussoorie, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name, when he went to Lucknow, to be here in Rishikesh rather than anywhere else in India and then in the world. I chose this not as a sacrifice, but because it offered me true happiness. And although the initial years were difficult for him, this decision actually ended up offering my then husband Jim true happiness as well. He has married a wonderful woman and has a beautiful family and life that fulfill him deeply too. We have reconnected as friends over the years, and his friendship is a true blessing. As I think about my life and the lives of everyone I know and those I observe but don't know, I see that everything we do is, ultimately, to make us happy. Sometimes we choose immediate gratification. Sometimes we are able to put off the immediate for the long term. We grin and bear it through school because we need a good education to get the job we want. And we believe that job will make us happy. Or we tolerate a job we don't like because we need it to make money, and we believe money, or the things that money can provide us, and our families will make us happy. There are infinite possibilities, but all we do ultimately is what we think will make us happy. We diet to lose weight so we'll look better and feel happy. We go through pregnancy, childbirth, and child rearing because we believe our children will make us happy. We sacrifice for our spouses, children, and family members because A, feeling like a good husband or wife, father or mother makes us happy, or B, because when our loved ones are happy, it gives us happiness. Even the social service or volunteer work we do, which seems so selfless, is still ultimately for our own happiness. To be of service to others, to feel my life is meaningful and beneficial to others, makes me happy. Hence, I serve. So even the most quote-unquote selfless decision we make is still ultimately one we make for our own happiness. We've been indoctrinated to believe that doing something for our own happiness is selfish and bad. It isn't. Happiness is our birthright. We get to choose how we'll go about it. We get to choose whether we want our happiness on a superficial level, constantly fluctuating between eating chocolate ice cream or buying a new handbag, whether we're looking for a deeper happiness through choices that bring about a more consistent joy, or whether we yearn for an even deeper level of happiness through embarking on a spiritual path, doing yoga, meditating, praying, connecting with the divine. We can choose all three. They're not mutually exclusive. We can enjoy chocolate and long-term choices and be steeped in spiritual truth. We also get to choose the way we interact with our own happiness. For me, living the life I do in India is the choice that brought me the greatest happiness. It's a sacrifice of some things, sure, but we always have to do that. In order to enjoy an Indian meal, you have to sacrifice enjoying Thai food that night. In order to enjoy being a parent, you have to sacrifice enjoying the freedom of being unencumbered by children. For me, in order to enjoy my life in India, I had to sacrifice enjoying life in America. But it's a choice I made and continue to make every day, not from a place of sacrifice, but from an embrace of a life I deeply believe is the best choice for me, for my own happiness. Life offers us different quote-unquote packages from which we can choose to co-create our best, most open, engaged, connected, fulfilling, meaningful life possible. There are no right or wrong choices. Every option can be a right option, depending on how you interact with it. The only wrong decision is to assume you can have it all. I chose the package of being a sannyasi, or renunciant, in India, a package that doesn't include a husband or children or nuclear family, but it's a choice that brings me deep happiness, and the awareness that happiness is a choice, not only in big picture decisions, but in every moment of every day. This book is about the presence of grace, how grace entered my life. It may enter your life in an entirely different way, but grace is available to all. Grace does not discriminate. Grace flows into us not because of what we have done, just because it is grace. Grace is what flows into and through our hearts and washes through us. It fills us more fully than any food, intoxicant, or material object. Grace doesn't care whether we have status, whether we meditate, whether we've stuck to our diet, whether we're married or divorced, rich or poor, white or black or brown, overweight or skinny. Grace requires only that there be space in us which it can flow. There is a story of the young man who goes to a faraway land in order to become enlightened. He asks everyone where the most enlightened teacher is, and they all point to the guru on the mountain top. So the young man walks for days, fords a river, climbs to the peak, and finally walks into the cave where the Guru is meditating. He bows at the Guru's feet and explained that he has come for enlightenment. He tells the Guru all that he's learned, everything he's practiced, the many books he's read, the multitude of his experiences, including his struggles and challenges. When he finishes, the Guru invites him to have a cup of tea. The Guru goes to the back of the cave and returns with a teapot and 2 cups. He begins pouring tea into one of the cups and keeps pouring as the cup gets more and more full and eventually starts to overflow. And the Guru continues to pour. "Stop!" the young man exclaims. "What are you doing? The cup can't hold anymore." "Ah," the Guru says quietly and puts down the teapot. "The cup is like your mind, so full of who you think you are, what you've done and learned, what you need, and there's no room for me to offer you anything. As the cup cannot hold any more tea, your mind cannot receive until you ingest what you already have, until you empty your cup." This is a book about emptying, letting go of who we think we are so we can experience who we really are, letting go of our stories, our identification with this or that aspect of ourselves, those things that are agreed on by others and those that are not true. When we let go of all we are not, we can step into the truth of who we are, which is expansive love, divine consciousness, spirit, truth, oneness, and perfection. For true healing, we need to dwell in the presence and in love with the fullness of our experience. Many spiritual biographies, especially from Eastern traditions, are about men born into pious families who knew from an early age that their son was special. These boys came out of the womb enlightened, or at least already on a well-trodden spiritual path. This is not my story. First, I am not a man. When I was 13 and writing my bat mitzvah speech, Frank, my dad of the heart, suggested an opening line. In traditional bar mitzvah ceremonies, a 13-year-old Jewish boy solemnly declares, "Today I am a man." Frank, always ready with a joke, gave me a perfect beginning. "Today I am not a man." The opening line brought laughter and applause at my bat mitzvah and still feels poignant, although not as funny today. I am not a man, and there was no indication in my infancy or childhood that I was spiritually awake or even inclined towards spirituality. I enjoyed school and sports and parties with my friends. I took art classes, built a dark room to print black and white photos, and got a black belt in karate. I spent summers at a camp where we rode and went water skiing and snuck into the boys' cabins at night. The goal of spiritual practice is freedom. Freedom from ignorance and illusion. Freedom to know and be who we really are. Through opening to the divine in India, through giving it all to Mother Ganga, through receiving and offering satsang, I have found freedom from all the ways I had identified, the ways I thought I was unworthy, not enough, tainted, impure, or deficient. And I know now that this freedom is available to all. I hope this book is an opening for you, that it helps you realize that there are alternatives to feeling depressed, stressed, jealous, and frustrated, and that it encourages you to find alternatives to tune into your own inner divinity or inner voice and feel the resonance of speaking and acting from the truth of who you are. It's possible to reboot, to be free of the ideas and identities that keep you stuck. Changing the filter and seeing ourselves anew can change everything. I still get angry and frustrated and afraid and find myself yearning for something or dreading something, and in those moments I've learned to stay present with the feeling, the experience, and not push it away. I see what I can when I can. I have learned to be interested in my anger, my frustration, and embrace it as an opportunity to go deeper. This too is the voice of God, and sometimes it's enough to just let the emotions or feeling states blow across my awareness like a wispy cloud on a windy day. At the end of The Wizard of Oz, Toto, Dorothy's dog, pulls back the curtain and exposes that the terrifying, dominating wizard is just a small man with a great projector. Like a film, DVD, or PowerPoint projector. Behind the screen, with his projector, he pretends to be huge and powerful, but face to face, without his screen or projector, he is a manageable, not very large man. Much of what causes us to suffer is like that. If we run from it or turn our back or try to deny it, it stays behind the curtain of unconsciousness and feels like a monster. But when we muster the courage to face it, pull back the curtain, stare it in the face and say, "Okay, show me," most of the pain and anxiety dissipate immediately. This is a teaching in the Upanishads. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. It says that everything in the universe is pervaded by the divine. There is nothing, no one, and no place that is not pervaded by the divine. That includes me, and it includes you. Spirituality does not take us away from the world. It brings us closer to it. Spirituality is awakening from the illusion that who we are is based on what we earn or achieve into the reality that we already embody the divine. I hope this book opens the space in your heart and mind for your own awakening. That is my prayer and intention. And that is not the beginning of the book, but very near to the end. Next time we'll read the very last chapter. Thank you for listening. Namaste.